to us. So the biggest issue for the things that are being talked about here, water management systems in Cumbria, Gareth, or Ajay Noida's, Greater Noida's development in Trondheim and Espoo, and all these things never reach the average person. So we hear wonderful stories in here and they never get out. So that's always something that's bothered me. I don't know if any of you have followed what the main media channels have been reporting on Davos. I know when I used to come and report for a TV channel, it was, can we get the big names, the chairman of this, the CEO of this? And it's the same rubbish, I'm sorry. And I'm not a cynic as such, I'm a skeptic. And there is a difference because that leaves me with some hope. And the thing is, I saw my friend and colleague Richard Quest doing another one. Well, we've got the CEO. Well, the thing is, yeah, you've got the CEO, but what about the work that's done on the ground level that never gets out there? So I think one of the issues, I didn't actually come here to pitch anything, but Roland, a good friend, and I told him the other day, I see you as a catalyst because you persist and you make things change. And this is really what UNOPS does. It's a catalyst for change at a global level. So one of the things for me is how do we get the stories out? As I say, I didn't come to pitch any kind of channel, but what frustrated me as a journalist working in the mainstream media is we have so many preset things. It's just almost a knee-jerk reaction. If it's disease, disaster, destruction. I said Africa was always covered in 3D. Death, disease, and destruction. That's all we did. We never thought about diligence, development, dynamic. None of these words came in for Africa. And as one African told me, our problem isn't that we're too poor, it's that we're too rich. And no one ever really knows the true story of how we're exploited and damaged. So, as I say, I've thought a lot about this need for a new platform. That's why I came up with this idea of, it was kind of a random idea, and then I spent all my time picking holes in it, because I think of something quickly, and then I have to find, where did I go wrong? But I thought of an idea of a channel where the shares are sold in it, so it's democratically owned around the world. No one can own more than 100 shares. Let's say the shares are $10 each. If you have just 1 million people, you have $10 million, which in today's terms is a fantastic opportunity to start a channel, because Al Jazeera spent $2 billion building Al Jazeera USA with this hope that they would have a presence in the USA. No one watches news in that way in the USA. So 3 years later, $2 billion wasted, it was shut. And this is the main issue. The channels go with these old conventional ways. Now with the UN SDG Cities Leadership Program, you have a chance to link massive populations with great stories. I'm not saying launch a 24-hour news channel, that's not what it is. It's a media platform, a media hub, where these stories can be told. And the people are involved. And we train people to tell the stories, so it's not kind of random information that no one has any idea how to collect or tell and disseminate. So anyway, I have a hope that somewhere along the line, and I've had a lot of conversations with people to test it as well, I don't see any holes in this idea. That's the thing. We could actually create something that is independent of any government control or greedy corporation control. CNN, we used to walk into the entrance in Atlanta, the security area, and there's a big board, one of these little number boards, with the Time Warner, when Time Warner took over Turner, Time Warner share price. 99% of the people at CNN didn't own any shares, only the executives. So they're watching the numbers go up and down, mostly up at that time, and it was of no value to anyone. It was just completely corrupt. I'm sorry, that's the only way to put it. So I think something where the citizens own the channel, there is no editorial skew to any agenda. It's literally telling stories. And even the news would be aggregated. The news bulletins based around, this is what this channel, this is what CNN says, this is what the BBC says, this is what RT says, this is what Libyan local channel says. You decide. And then people go out and research more. Anyway, I hope this comes to life because, again, I never said anything about it except to Roland a couple of days ago, and then he outed me at the UN Ops outing party. So I hope it has some traction. I'm an ideas person. I'm not an executor of the ideas. That's probably my biggest failing. I'm not a businessman, and I'm not someone who can say, let's do this right now this way. All I can do is get great journalists, keep the idea on track, and hope it takes off.
Isn't it cool, a TV guy who's getting nervous? You know what he forgot? He forgot to say the name of his TV channel.
Well, that still was just an idea, Unity, UNI, and then T, but,
So let's go live.
Okay.
Thank you very much. This was the end. We will have a lunch afterwards, but this is the official end. And I know that he always tries to disrupt.